Welcome to our weekly program, The Inside Story of Chabad in America through the Mindel Archives. Last week, we spoke about the Manhattan Group. You can always click back and see. And the letter of the Frierdiker Rebbe that he wrote to them with his Ksav Yad Kodshe. And also the questions that Rabbi Mindel asked the Rebbe that they asked. And our Rebbe, the Ramash, because the Frierdiker Rebbe said that he should go to the Ramash. The Rebbe was called the Ramash to ask, to tell him exactly the questions that they had in the Manhattan Group. And the Rebbe wrote down shilas and answers. The answer what they. So here I'm going to do this. This is a little bit of learning. These are the answers, the Rebbe's Ksav, our Rebbe's Ksav, all the answers that the Rebbe asked, they asked and the Rebbe answered with his Ksav Yad Kodshe. So I'm going to do this, translate this into English. I hope I can do it, and then I will, and we'll see what the Rebbe. What the class had in mind, what kind of questions they asked. And this is what the Rebbe wrote it down. So I'm going to do the Hebrew and the English. So the Shaila, the Rebbe writes a Shaila. Here, the Shaila Tam, and I wrote down here. Shaila Mahu Teichen Ha'inyan, Shebechol Masa Breishis Namar B'Briyosam, Vayar Elikim Kitoiv, and also ma bol lamdeinu my komashmalon halemiatzmun muvan asher kiven shelakim baram tevim. This was the question. What is the meaning of this that it says by the creation and Hashem saw that it was good? There are seemingly two questions here. What is the lesson? Hashem saw it was good. What's the lesson? What do we learn out from that? It's obvious. Everything that Hashem says, it's good. So number one, the lesson, and number two, it's obvious. So why does it say each time that Vayar Hashem Kitoiv? Okay, I'm going to just explain what the Rebbe writes here. The Rebbe answers like this. I'll try to translate. And this is a Hagdomo, an introduction. The Rebbe gave three Hagdomas, three introductions to this question. First introduction. The entire creation is divided into four levels. The inanimate, like stones, earth, water, metal. The second thing is Tzeimeach, the growing, trees, grass, plants, and Chai, the living, fish, animals, birds, insects. And the fourth is speaking, intellect. These are the four. There is a fundamental, the Rebbe writes, difference in regard to between the other three and man, that the other three can only be affected. It can be a mekabel, but they cannot affect others. They cannot be mashpia. Only man can, and they were created with a nature. We'll explain to you what it means. Now, l'chora, daimim and tzomeach we understand, but chai should be different. These are living things. So the Rebbe says no. Not only the inanimate and growing species cannot affect and have a certain nature that they cannot even move to another place, but even the living who does many things and changes surrounding. So seemingly, he does have a power to affect. L'chura chai should be different than doimim tzomeach. Contrary to what was just said, but it will be shown that even the living does not have the power, and as we're going to explain now. So even chai, which chai is different, but it's still not like medaber. Now the Rebbe gives an example how chai, what chai is. We see that an animal can change and affect their surrounding. The ant gathers its food in the summer for the winter, because then it will naturally not have food. So, b'tava, they do. So we see that the chai is different. Also, the Rebbe says, the silkworm weaves clothes for itself, which is very appropriate for its situation and survival. So we see that the chai is different than doimim. We also see the bee builds its honeycomb like an expert architect, and many the like. So we do see a difference. But even so, the Rebbe says, also these actions, it is the laws of nature which hit them and tell him to do so. And he's really not adding anything to the creation. This is their nature, but they're not adding anything. Just like Doimim is not adding anything. So they move, but this is they were created for that. But the person is different. However, the man, in addition to the fact that his actions are not forced, and because of his free bechira chavshis, the choice, he's able to oppose his natural will. Moreover, it is in his power to create and build in the world, meaning that if his actions are done properly, he's able to fix the world, to purify, improve, and eliminate. And as it says that he becomes a shutaf, a partner with the Eibustin creation. That's number one of the Hakdama to the answer. Now the Rabbi is saying another Hakdama to the answer of why it says Vayar Hashem Kitayv. Number 2, introduction. An expert engineer, this is all from the Hebrew, who makes a machine, just like there will be nothing missing in the professional machine from what it needs to do, its job, so too there will be no part and thing in it that does not during any usefulness to the job, and that it can be without it. And if this is not the case, then it is a lack in one who made the machine. The engineer Mumcha, he writes, Ha'oisa mechayno in a kashem shelo yechsa b'mechayno Mumcha me'anitzach l'milu tafkido kein lo yiyeh b'shum chelik v'dover she'enim mevi to'eles ba'avedosai v'asher efshar li es belodai v'im kein harei ze chisorn b'shleimus, then it's a chisorn in his whole shleimus. So for sure, how much more so that the creator of the world did not create anything for nothing in the world in general and in man particular. And since it was given to the person the power to purify the world and improve it, this shows that this is his mission here on earth, and this is what is expected from him, and this is not a choice, it's an obligation. He writes in Hebrew, the Rabbi says, "V'kiva shala adam nitna hayechayles lezachich ha'olam v'leskaloloi, harei ze machriach loimer, shezehu tafkid ha'odom alei adomais, v'avedos ha'metelos olav, ve'ein ze inin shel reshus el ha'chayva. This is the second. The third Hakdama, the Rabbi says, the true meaning of the word good only something which is completely perfect. Otherwise it's not good. Because if you are able to improve it and perfect more than the thing that is holding back the perfection, that's bad, is bad. So it's as if there is bad in the perfect, and there is no bad in the perfect, because if it's good, it's all the way good. Like if it's emes, it's emes. And you cannot say on thing that has bad in it that is truly good. Like so, therefore, if it says kitay, means it has to be 100. There's no bad. So. Now the Rebbe goes the answer on the Shaila. Now let me read the Shaila in Hebrew. Mine ala Shaila. Kivan sha'odam kanal. This is the person, like it says in the first introduction. Efshel loyliyis yoytzer ubaynu ba'ilam. Oidzais. Kivan sha'odam kanal. That's the second introduction. All of lakachas chayva, all of lakachas chelik binyane shalaylam uskalalay uboyfa gazet nivra ilam. What's the answer? Since a person is able to create and build in the world, as we said before, and more so, he must take part in building the world and improving it. And it was this manner that the world was created, as explained in the second Akdome. So that people can make a mistake. A person can say, Shayomer Adam, since I can do it, Bekoichi aniv ba'atzmi, hine miskal es oilam, v'adei avidosi davke, hine nase merach choser hashleim esteif. This gives room for two mistakes. A person might say, it is within my power, and it is me who is improving the world. And only through my work is the world becoming from bad to good. Sheyemar ha'odam mibli yechayles Hashem chas v'sholem v'chas v'sholem livre olam ha'meloyei bore beifel kazeh. A person might say, because Hashem is unable to chas v'sholem create the perfect world, that's why he created it in this manner. That's what the Torah says. B'siyum kol brio brio. The end of every siyum. Vayar elokim kitayv. Kshabayre royes hadover hanivro. Shehu haroye oisel hamitosai. Hine mashe nimtzo boy gilu la'ein kail. Hein mashe nimtzo boy behelim ubekayach. Hari teke bibriosai. B'sheses yemei breishis. Kitayv hashehu toiv betachlis. So this is why the Pasuk says at the end of every single creation, and Hashem saw that when the Creator sees the thing that was created, He sees it truly. He sees not only what is revealed and can be seen by everyone, He also sees what the thing has hidden in it, the potential of it. So right in the 6 days of creation, as soon as He created, He saw that it was good. And good means what? Completely perfect. So this obviously is the answer to the two mistakes that one can have. That Hashem was certainly able to create a perfect world, and He actually saw this perfection right in the beginning. The Adam and a person, Ein Elam Megale, Mashenimtzo behelem ubekayach hein benegoya la'atzmai shemoitzi kayches hatoiv hanelvav sheboy min hakayach al hapoyel v'adeze megale bebrias hatoiv ha'amiti hakomus hasheboy. And the person's job is only to reveal the actuality, what is already potentially here. This is true for himself, that he reveals the power that he has hidden in him. And through this he reveals in the creation the hidden true good. And this is what the Rebbe writes over here, the answer to them, why it says, Vayar Hashem Kitayv, and what we can learn out from this. This was the answer to this group. I mean, there's so much here written from the Rebbe. I mean, we have no time for more, but in Mitzvah some other time we will do the other things. The two questions that was a topic that was spoken in that group. It says that Mr. Stillman asked. This was given over to the Frierdiker Rebbe, that Rabbi Mindel told him this question that they asked also. He asked Mr. Cowan that he was under the impression that the world was created by thought of the Creator and not with speech. This is what he heard. That's what Mr. Stillman asked at the group. Is this so? So Alexander Cowan answered that this cannot be, as it is written that with 10 words the world was created. So how can it be? It's impossible. So Rabbi Mindel said to the Frierdiker Rebbe that he said to the group, I made a comment here that according to my understanding, and also this is not clear, both are correct. Because in truth, when it came to the thought of the Creator to create the world, it was created, and the speeches are the combination of the letters and their tzimtzumim, within which were closed all the material things, since the Creator had no one at this point to whom to speak, as there was no creation yet. In general, this is a deep concept which cannot be easily be understood. But the Frierdiker Rebbe told me, the Frierdiker Rebbe liked this answer. Now there was another question here. At the same time, they told the Frierdiker Rebbe that they asked in the class, if the Torah is so exalted and wise, how do you explain the fact that the knowledge of Torah is not so widespread nor accepted in the world all over, the world over? How come? So here Mr. Cowan started to go on the length into an explanation, and without quite touching on the question. He told the Rebbe, the matter remained unresolved. At this point, I asked permission to answer. Here Rabbi Mindel answered, and I said that the advantage of light comes about through darkness, when there is both the one and the other. As when one goes from a dark room to a bright room. The intention of the Creator is that the man should come to the recognition in truth after searching without finding it in other places. And the prophets already prophesied that it will become a time when the whole inhabit the earth will recognize the kingdom of Hashem, and all will come to Mount Zion to learn the wisdom of the Torah. And on that, Mr. Cowan said, he added to this, that this can be compared to a person who is in a factory where the noise of the machine is very loud, and due to the great noise, one is not able to hear the sweet music of the symphony playing outside. The world is now engrossed in science and is not paying attention to what is written in the Torah. And this was the two questions at the same time the Rabbi Mindel mentioned, and maybe some other time we'll see what the Rebbe answered on that. In Mitzvah Hashem, next week we'll continue our weekly program. Thank you.